Pete Alonso, how the heck are you, man? What's happening there in New York City?
So, I mean, we got a ball game tonight, so that's good. I'm sitting here with this guy right here. Yeah, so it's I'm here with all the fan cutouts here at the office.
That's awesome, man. It's been fun to watch. I know things are shaping up to be an interesting season. So you got a chance last year, after you won the Derby and had a pretty great year. You were able to go and hunt with Steve, and obviously
Yeah.
it's going to be showcased on this episode of Meat Eater Season 9. So I want to run through a couple questions about like what it was like, man, to hunt mule deer with Steve in Colorado, and then just kind of like understand a little bit more about you. A couple like just questions about Steve. If he was a professional athlete, in your opinion, what sport would he play?
I mean, based off of his body type, I don't know. I mean, he's got the body type of a pitcher because he's long and lanky, and typically pitchers are a little bit longer and leaner and lanky because they need to have that sort of body to throw, to whip their arm through and be able to create some velocity or manipulate a baseball. I could see Steve doing I don't know if he would be doing like a marathon or a distance runner because he's very, very determined. And also he's kind of like part mountain goat. So I think like the distance and endurance would kind of work in his favor. But I don't know, like his attitude, I feel like if he wanted to, and how he approaches things, I think he could really do in whatever he wanted if he put his mind to it, like at a young age, and say, listen, I want to be this type of athlete. Like, I don't know. He's a pretty driven and competitive guy, to say the least.
Yeah, that's for sure. If Steve was throwing BP, how far would you take him yard? Like 400 feet, 600 feet?
I mean, I'd definitely take him upper deck. That's for sure.
That's awesome. So I want to talk a little bit about your hunt, man.
Okay.
That was a remarkable look into sort of these two different worlds that have a lot of different like cross-sectional relations, between hunting and baseball. And so first and foremost, like, talk about the physical aspects of hunting, compared to baseball a little bit. You guys train all year, in damn good shape. What was it like to hit the Colorado mountains, after those mule deer?
Oh, it was awesome. I mean, it was, for me, it was like going out there and hitting the restart button is absolutely incredible. I mean, down there in Southwest Colorado, you got some of the most gorgeous landscape in the country. Like, and it's such a breath of fresh air. Like, I love New York City. For me, I think of it as a second home, but going out there and breathing in the clean, crisp country air, like after a long season, like it was so refreshing and relaxing. Even though like the waking up at 3:30, 4 a.m. to go on a couple mile hunt, like quietly, which isn't easy, to be able to run through like some dry leaves, some sticks and twigs, like without making a noise. But it's physically demanding. It's meticulous in its own way, but I feel like hunting and baseball, there's a lot of similarities in how you approach things, because as a hitter, if you succeed 30% of the time for your entire career, you're going to be a Hall of Famer. And hunting, there's no guarantee. Which I think social media it's a good thing for hunting to spread awareness and the good, I guess, like the good practices of it, but also like because people like it's such a constant influx of pictures and photos of the successes, it doesn't necessarily highlight the failures, or the failures, meaning, oh man, we didn't get the deer didn't, or whatever animal didn't present the shot, or we just didn't see anything that day because you can't control Mother Nature. And I feel like hunting as well, you have to be ultra prepared. You have to know your surroundings. You have to be prepared for every like oh shit situation, where there's always has to be a plan B, a plan C. You have to over prepare as opposed to just go out there and expect it to happen. Because like for me, like I'm at the yard right now, at 2:30, 2:45 for a 7 o'clock game. Like after we get done talking, I got to stretch, I got to throw, I got to lift, I got to get my body right, I got to take BP, ground balls. There's this whole process in order to succeed and have that finished product. So there's a lot more, as you know, than a lot of details that people really just don't see or understand.
Yeah, I like that, man. That's great, and I agree. I think it's interesting to see like the methodical nature of both pursuits, and I think the people that perform at a high level certainly have a routine. And Steve talks a lot about doing things perfect. Like if you foundationalize a perfect place, then everything after that, comes from there. So that's pretty interesting. So on the actual hunt, man, talk about a little bit about the gear and how it performed for you, the first like gear that you had, and a little bit of like the situations you got yourself in, or just how the gear worked for you.
I thought that, so traditionally I thought I was going to be going into a very bitter cold morning to a crisp mid-morning afternoon type of environment, but it turns out that it was an unseasonably warm I guess fall, winter. I mean, we went in early November, so it's not winter yet, but late fall. So in that part of Colorado is drier. It hasn't snowed. It didn't snow as much like in October. So it was pretty dry and pretty warm like during the afternoons. In the morning, it'd be there was one morning where it was like 16 to 20 degrees, and then it warmed up to like 70 by mid-afternoon. So it was a pretty big discrepancy in the temperature. And I thought the gear, it was so awesome because in the mornings where I needed to add those extra layers, it kept me warm, especially when we're on a sit for a really long while, overlooking some stuff and glassing. So, and then when it warmed up, it held up absolutely fantastic because it had this awesome like cooling aspect to it as well, because it can keep it's really versatile. And I feel like the layers and like the different layers and the different products just help me stay ready, like for whatever I guess Mother Nature was ready to throw.
Nice. That's awesome, man. I appreciate that. I'm glad to hear it work too, because like that's what we pride ourselves on, right? Is this whole system of perfected gear, right? From 20 degrees in the morning until 60 in the afternoon. So I'm glad to hear it worked. That's awesome.
Yeah, and it honestly, like how I can describe it, it's like when I was throwing stuff on, I'm a big like I love athleisure wear, like the comfy stuff I wear around the house. And like when I threw on the gear, it's comfy, it's breathable, and like you can manipulate your body any way you want and without it being uncomfortable, which is I feel like being comfortable, especially when you're pushing yourself in an uncomfortable situation, you don't have to worry about like gear restrictions or anything like that. Like by having the right stuff, you can put yourself in the best position for success.
Right. Nailed it, man. 100%. That's the end game there. That's what we strive for. So I want to talk a little bit more about the hunt too. So it's kind of a spoiler alert, but after you killed that buck, you got pretty emotional, right? And that happens.
Yeah.
It happens to me. It happens to everybody in certain situations. Can you talk a little bit about like where your head was at, and sort of like sum up that experience of pulling the trigger, and having it all come together?
Yeah. So I thought it was, I don't know how much is kind of revealed in the episode, but I think Steve had too many Pop-Tarts in the morning, and he was like he felt like uneasy. He was like laying down, and then Seth, the cameraman, he actually spotted it because like down underneath in the timber, because we were overlooking like a pasture, because there was a ton of like, what is it? There's a ton of like we saw some cows, we saw some elk, but no, we didn't see any good bulls. We saw a bunch of cows out there, like in groups, like in it. We were waiting on that bull to kind of emerge from the oak brush, because so this episode it was a mule deer hunt, but the mule deer season and the elk season coincided and overlapped. And it was crazy how it unfolded, because there ends up just being this absolute stud timber buck mule deer walking like along the edge underneath like underneath at the bottom of the hill. So it just kind of emerged from the timber, and it's like it just, the opportunity just, it's like I was shocked that this even happened, because we weren't even targeting the mule deer that morning. We were looking for a legal bull. So it was crazy how it all fell out. And Steve's yelling at the deer, trying to get it to stop and turn. And I'm like, Steve, stop. Like, I got it. Like, it's like, shoot. I'm like, Steve, like, it's not where I want it to be yet. Like, just, he's like, don't let it go. Just shoot. And he's like, hey, he's yelling at it. He's basically yelling at this thing, like, to stop. And then it finally, because I had the gun set on the rail. I wanted, because I know it was walking, I had it lined up, ready to go perfectly. And once it did, I told myself, look, I'm aiming for heart. I'm not hitting anything else but heart. And I wasn't just going to take a shot at the body. I wanted to be as precise as possible. And then, lo and behold, it went. Once we started field dressing it, the heart's in pieces. So I was really happy with the shot. And I guess for me, because that was my first deer ever.
Yeah.
Wow. I went. Yeah. So I went hunting. I went whitetail hunting with my grandpa many times, but I never pulled the trigger. And we always saw stuff, but well, it's weird, because when I was younger, like, we saw stuff, but it never presented the shot. This was in so, like, for me to actually, like, do this and be in the woods and have this opportunity, it just was really emotional, because I haven't been in the woods, like, hunting since, like, my grandpa passed. Right. And being able to go on this trip, it just it was a surreal moment. Like, I felt that, like, I wasn't alone pulling the trigger. Like, I don't know how else to explain it, but I felt like a calm, cool, collected calmness when the moment came down to it. Like, I was excited once I saw it, but once it came time for the moment of truth to pull the trigger, like, I felt at ease. I felt really comfortable, and I guess I can't really explain it I can explain it the best I can, but actually seeing it in person, or seeing the video footage of it, I feel like it's I feel like that's going to tell a better story and paint the picture. But I just got overwhelmed with emotion, because this is something that I love to do and I enjoy doing. And it's like, I don't know. It's like, it reminded me of good times when I was younger.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really cool how those, like, all those moments kind of come together. And then finally, when that trigger gets pulled, it's a big release. And it's interesting to hear, like, it meant so much to you too, because I think oftentimes we focus in on the aftermath versus the moments that come up to it. So that's cool to hear, man. What are you going to do with your buck? Did you get it mounted, or what's the plan there?
So I've put a big old dent in the meat. We had a bunch of, like, jalapeno sausages made up, Polish sausages,
nice,
made up of it. Obviously, the backstrap is all gone by now, because
yeah.
I mean, that's hard not to turn down. So we made some burgers. I mean, I got pretty much almost anything done with it, and it's been great. I've grilled the sausages, smoked the sausages, made burgers, made backstrap. Like, I've cooked it almost any way possible, other than make like a venison chili, which I really want to do.
Oh yeah.
So I've tampered a lot with I guess, like, in the kitchen with some of the recipes, and I'm really happy with how everything's turned out. It's really tough to beat fresh like fresh meat. It's so tough to beat. And I got the rack Euro mounted.
Nice. Awesome.
So,
where's that thing hanging right now? Is it done?
It's done. It's in my garage right now as we speak. Unfortunately, it's not hanging up because I'm in the middle of a move, but it's in a very safe place, and I can't wait to hang that up in a game room or office type of space. And I honestly, like, hopefully there's more to come to join it.
So what is on your, like, what's next list, like your bucket list on the hunting side?
I mean, I think it'd be really special to get an elk. I think I think that'd be I think that would be the top. I think also a unique hunt would be like antelope or a coos deer or something like that. Because for me, I'm about doing something unique, and I'm not afraid to be uncomfortable and afraid to get out there. Like, and also like I mean, just any time in the woods is fantastic, or anytime like out there, like in experiencing nature. Like I don't even think it's about like the success. I think it's about the process and enjoying it, because I mean I'd rather be out in the woods like enjoying some beautiful landscape than like than I don't know, having a bad day or behind a desk or doing something else.
Going to brunch.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Hey man, well, I got a little bit of a deal for you. How about this? If you go yard today, I'll take you on an elk hunt.
Okay.
You just got to go yard. That's pretty simple, right?
What if I hit 2? Is that 2 hunts? 2
hunts, two dingers, 2 hunts. You got it. And we'll go shoot an antelope, and then we'll go shoot an elk.
That's very all right. Deal done.
Take some extra BP, get super loose, you know.
Exactly. Or just save the bullets for the game. Take less BP.
There you go. Well, man, I sure appreciate you sitting down and taking the time out of the busy season schedule to catch up with us. And that episode should be airing right now. So season 9 with Pete Alonso. We'll check it out when it's live. And I appreciate your time, man. It's good to catch up with you.
Thank you so much for having me on. I'm always willing to talk outdoor stuff. So you don't have to pull my arm ever for that.
Awesome, man. Well, you have a great game, and let me know how it goes. I'll watch the box score.
Hell yeah. All right. Awesome.
All right. Thanks, Pete. Have a good day.
Yeah, of course. I'll talk to you soon.
See you, man.